So before we get started, I'm actually going to rate all of these jokes, because I've never done this before, so be gentle with me. I will tell you a story before I actually do what I've written previously. I'll let you know a bit of a story that happened tonight. We were having a bit of a talk as a family, and one of my daughters said, "Oh, you can't use that word. It's it's really offensive." And I won't say what word. It wasn't too offensive, but we're having a really big discussion about it. And I just had a shower beforehand, and I was dressed, which is good. But I wasn't showing off my dried arrangement or anything to the kids, so that's good. But we were having this really big discussion, and in the process of talking these things through, I threw a pair of old jocks at one of my daughters, and with scorch marks and all that in there.
All of your
and
daughters.
As you can imagine, they went and jumped around, and they threw it amongst each other. And then I threw it at one of my daughters, and she stashed it behind her. For some reason, she wanted to keep a pair of old scorch mark jocks behind her. And then later on, it got a bit more heated, and she got up to make a real point about this topic we were talking about, and of course she's standing there holding this pair of scorch marks old jocks, so everyone just cracked up laughing because it sort of didn't really get the point across that, because she was holding my old jocks.
Fair.
I'll just mark that one. So before we go any further, I do want to let you know that I'm actually I am a born again Christian. I've through finding Jesus, I've been saved, and so I won't say anything too blue tonight because of that. It's really important to me. When I first found Jesus, I was in grade 4, and I went to a Catholic school, and you can imagine this little 3 foot tall kid, his blonde hair, blue eyes, big juicy lips, tight ass. And after that, they're called a brother, which is weird because he's a really old guy wearing a really big white dress, and I don't know why they call him a brother. It seems a bit odd, but and he said, I want to welcome you all. Welcome all to Secret Farts. Welcome to Sacred Heart. I don't know what just came over me then. So that's how we started. And of course, we got a bit nervous. And there's me, 3 foot tall, look like little Lord Fauntleroy with my long blonde hair with ringlets. And no, they went after Justin, didn't they? Because he'd been over to pick his pen that he dropped. That one did all right.
That went down well.
Justin went down well as well, apparently. But I'm actually really into the real Jesus, the blonde-haired, blue-eyed Jesus. Like every blonde-haired, blue-eyed guy from the Middle East that, has a Spanish name. But I do want to know, when are the Catholic Church ever even going to try and pretend to do something about their kiddie fiddling priests? When is it going to happen? Imagine that the Catholic Church was in the private sector, in a business. So Barry comes into work one day and he murders Fred in accounting. And if he was in the Catholic Church, they just go and move him over to HR. That's what they do. So, that went all right, actually. I recently went to a 35th school reunion, which was a big deal. And I was speaking to this guy, and he's telling me about these tours he's done with his family, and he's gone to the Bible lands, and it's fantastic. He's walked where Jesus has walked, and he's washed some dirty feet like Jesus did, and he's dragged a cross like Jesus did, and he's done a shit where Jesus shat, and it was just fantastic. And I'm thinking, back in '95, you got jailed for holding up a bottle. Like, he's really gone downhill since then. So, all right. Thank you, David. Thank you. We're on the way home from Brisbane the other month, actually, and I happen to be lucky enough to get sat next to a Christian fundamentalist Christian Gideon's Bible salesman. That's actually true. It really did happen. And we're sitting there, you can imagine 4 hours of this, and he's saying, he was really passionate, in the Bible there are, it shows that dinosaurs didn't exist, that scientists hid all those bones there because they're against religion and all that stuff. But there were flying, fire-breathing dragons. And actually, to his credit, we looked it up and they really are in the Bible. There are fire-breathing dragons in the Bible. So I was wrong. He's right. So I put up with that for 4 hours of this, of really learning a lot about Christianity, so which was really good. It was a long 4 hours. Now, Cardinal Pell's come under a lot of fire of late. And look, it's really unjustified, First Tim mentioned, he's writing all these songs about him, and they did really well. And then, he's got these, he was the head of the Australian Catholic Church. There was no higher.
Don't say head.
Head. He was the head of the Australian Catholic Church in Australia. He was the third highest clergyman in the world. He was actually he was up for Pope. And as we all know, no one pontificates in public better than the Pope. And that didn't go down well at all, that one.
It's too big a word.
Yeah, pontificate, it's a big word for a Friday night. It's been a long week. But we all know that, we found out in court that the clergyman's residence is called the rectory. Why would that be? Why would they call it the rectory? And I'll tell you why it is. It's because the altar boy bum house of fun was already taken by the Anglican Church, so they couldn't use that one.
Did it have a front door?
I do want to. And of course we also know why why altar boys have a part in the middle of their hair. We know that. It's because bless you, my son. So it's meant to be done with 2 hands. So that went all right. That one. That's it.
Made me choke.
I just do want, just off that subject, because it's a bit dark. The other day I was loading my car up with this. I was at Aldi shopping, and I came out with a trumpet and a chainsaw instead of the carton of milk I wanted to get. But I was loading a trolley into the back of the car, and this guy said, "Hey, yeah, you can't do that." I said, "Fuck off! I paid $1 for it." That went down poorly. Has anyone noticed in Coles the trolleys are designed to actually they put the wheel right in front of where your feet are, so you keep stubbing your toe on the wheels. Anyone else notice that? No one's noticed that, except my wife. It's like someone in R&D said, "Oh, look, we've got to stop these guys from, flogging them down the bloody aisles and with their kids on board and smashing into stuff and going through the car park and hitting cars and stuff. So we'll put the wheels right where people's feet are." And we all know that. Just to go back on subject about not Cardinal Pell but Jesus. We've seen those signs, Jesus is coming really soon. And that's not dirty. It sounds dirty when I say it like that, but it's not. It's about him coming back, okay? So from, 2,000 years ago, he's coming really soon, because all evidence shows that he's going to come right now. It's only been 2,000 years. So imagine when he does come, he's that is funny, see? But it's not meant to be, because it's when he gets here, and he holds a big press conference. You can imagine there's more cameras than in the O.J. Simpson trial, right? And so he finally does his presser, he does his press conference, and he says, "Thank you." Sorry, I've got to use he's Jewish. He was Jewish, right? So, "Thank you all for having crosses hanging around your necks and on top of churches. It made it really easy to find all the people that have been following me for 2,000 years and constantly remind me of the worst fucking day of my life." Okay, thank you all very much. Thank you.